Broadcasting from the KMF Collective Studio, it's time for the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. This limited release show features the stories of the 2020 contestants of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's athletic competition, NBC's The Titan Games. Now, here's your host, Katie Galley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 26 of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. I'm your host, Katie Galley. In the KMF Collective Studio with me today, I have Titan Games athlete and 2019 CrossFit Games athlete, Dani Speegle. How are you doing, Dani?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I'm super excited to dive in and learn more about your story.
Yeah, let's get on into it.
Let's do it. So, Dani, just to kind of shed some light on your background for the audience, can you tell us where you grew up and how, if at all, your childhood was shaped by athletics?
Yeah, so I did most of my growing up in a tiny little town, Conifer, Colorado, a little mountain town about an hour outside Denver. And my entire life has been pretty much centered around athletics and sports and, everything outdoors. I grew up doing gymnastics, and when an injury took me out of that, I dabbled in a lot of sports. I went from, springboard diving to volleyball to track. I actually was on scholarship for rowing my freshman year of college.
Wow.
So I bounced around a lot until I finally found CrossFit my senior year of college. But growing up in Colorado, if I wasn't at the gym, training while I was a gymnast, I was outside rock climbing or hiking or camping, kayaking, you name it. And that absolutely, my childhood definitely shaped the path in which I took, later in life. I always loved moving around, and I never liked to sit still. So a stereotypical, quote unquote desk job was never in the cards for me.
Yeah, I feel that. I understand that for sure. And so then, Dani, how did, that's super interesting too, how you went to college in your freshman year, went on scholarship for rowing. So how did you get involved with that sport?
Actually, I had I don't even know what they're called anymore, an athletic page, I guess, or an athlete page, recruiters for volleyball, actually. I was playing club volleyball during high school, and the rowing coach stumbled upon my, profile, and actually called my father and was like, hey, I know she doesn't row, but, her legs look really strong. Do you think she'd be interested in rowing? And my dad, sat me down. He was like, do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, these on the water, dolphins, great. And then, I got there, and they were like, all right, guys, 4 a.m. practice. And I was like, whoa, what?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So I lasted a year doing rowing. I was just, tired. So tired.
Yeah.
And it was a really awesome experience. But, yeah, it takes a whole new kind of grit to wake up at 4 a.m. and train and then be at an 8 a.m. class. And I just was not about that life.
Wow. That's got to be, an incredible shift of schedule to all of a sudden have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but then 2, do a sport that you had no experience in rowing, right? You just decided, okay, or the coach thought that you would be, it was something you could excel at, so you just tried it?
Yeah, and it's a phenomenal sport, absolutely, but It is miserable. It was not for me. I had this vision of us always being out in the boats, in the water, and that actually is only the springtime. So you're actually inside sitting on the erg, I don't know if you know what that is, the rowing erg. It's just that that sitting machine.
Yeah.
Where you're just so you're just on that actually for the majority of the year, and then finally for a couple months you get to go out and be on the boats. But most of it is inside, 4 a.m. just dying. And so I was like, okay, this is this has been great and everything, but I'm actually gonna not do this. So that's how that went.
And that's understandable, of course, but you gave it a try, which is amazing. I mean, be having the chance to, at the collegiate level, do a sport that, one, you've never done before, but two, just kind of take your hand at it and see where it would take you. And so, Dani, from there, after having that rowing experience your freshman year, where did you go from there? Did you take your hand or start trying to compete at another sport in the college level? And then two, what were you studying and where did you see, I guess, the next steps for you as far as a career goes?
Yeah, so I did my fair share of like track and sand volleyball. I kept it pretty casual, especially the sand volleyball stuff. But I was on like the track team for my school. I never competed. I was actually I really just wanted to go there for the workouts, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I never really wanted to compete. And so after I did that and just kind of bounced around, and then, like I said, my senior year of college, that's when I found CrossFit. But during this whole thing, I was studying, I had an emphasis on marine biology, was my first major.
Wow.
And I had, since the time I was about 3 years old, wanted to do something involved with the ocean, study, fish. I was all about it. And a couple months before graduating is when I found CrossFit. And I remember the phone call with my dad. I was like, hey, so I know that we've had this whole plan since I was about 3. And, we've invested so much into my education. And, I kind of want to do something completely different now. There's a moment of silence. And then, per usual, my dad was like, okay, yeah, sure. What's CrossFit? I was like, okay, here we go. So all over the place, but it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so. It turned out, pretty decent for you.
Yeah.
But that one takes a lot of courage to make that shift, to have, I want to do something marine biology since you're 3 years old, and then to discover the sport of CrossFit and kind of have it take hold of you like that, and to the point where you wanted to just go all in and see where you could go. And so, Dani, what was it about the sport of CrossFit that caught your eye so much, that really kind of hung onto your heart so much, that made you want to make that huge shift in your life?
First and foremost, I'd probably say it was just the community of people that I was around.
Yeah.
CrossFit brought me out of a pretty dark place and gave me, a local family and a home and just something to do at first. And it was something that challenged me both mentally and physically, which is something I had always strived to find after gymnastics. And this was the first time that I felt not only, challenged by a sport, but a love for a sport. And I'd always been athletic, and I had always wanted to compete at a high level in athletics. I had dreams, stereotypical little gymnast, dreams of the Olympics, of college gymnastics. So when that wasn't in the cards anymore, I feel like something within me was always searching for that next physical pursuit. So when I found CrossFit and the community welcomed me in and I fell in love with it, it was kind of an instantaneous mind shift. I knew I could be really good if I had dedicated the time. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of took that leap of faith, and thank the Lord it paid off, because it was definitely a big turn. And I know my parents are probably sitting at home biting their nails like, oh my gosh, what is she doing this time? But so it feels, I can kind of breathe, a sigh of relief. But
right.
Yeah.
Wow. And two, Dani, like you said, what CrossFit did for you, and it brought you out of that place, and being able to find that community. But then it's another thing entirely to decide, I'm going to see how far I can go in this sport. I want to try and see if I can go to the CrossFit Games. So when did you make that shift of, okay, I want to see what I can do with this sport, and what kind of made you decide to go all in on that path?
So honestly, it was day one. That's when I called my dad and told him that I had found something that I really knew I was going to love and I could excel at. And I spent, about a year just learning everything and kind of getting in, CrossFit shape-ish. And then about a year and a half after being involved in CrossFit, I actually found a team to do a team regional competition with. And next year I went as an individual, And then the year after that was my first appearance at the CrossFit Games.
Wow.
So that was like last year. And so it moved pretty quickly, and I had a really good support system, and I was surrounded by the right people at the right time for me in my career. And I was incredibly lucky to have, almost stumbled upon the people in my life that made it possible for my career to have taken the drastic uprising that it did. So I'm very thankful for all of that. But it was, like I said, it was a pretty instantaneous thing that I knew I could be really good at this sport. And so I dug in pretty early on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I love that you dove in, you knew it was something you wanted to take your hand at, but not just kind of dabble. And you said, okay, this is this is my new shift. I'm going to see how far I can go. And then, like you said, you had to have the right people in your corner in order to catapult you forward. And so, Dani, I mean, having that experience and being able to go in 2019 to the CrossFit Games, how did that kind of set you up then to create the platform that you have today with, Dell Athletics and just kind of pursuing this area of fitness as a profession?
Making it to the CrossFit Games is pretty much our Olympics for our sport. So it's pretty much the highest accolade that you can achieve. And with that, it was more of like a internal gratification that I have done the correct work and the right amount of work to get me there. My platform has always been, and through social media, has always it hasn't been for the elite athlete. It's definitely been about my journey and how I got from point A to where I am, and it'll continue to share my story of where I end up. But my platform has always been to inspire and motivate people. That's where it started for me, is kind of a little, journal or diary almost, of where I started mentally, physically, emotionally, and how I've journeyed through everything and how CrossFit has been a part of that. So to be able to build a platform from that has been incredible. And obviously competing at the highest level in CrossFit has been, you can't call it the cherry on top. It's been everything to me as an athlete. But my brand and what I stand for with my platform has always been to help not the elite athlete, but to help anybody who's looking for some kind of inspiration or motivation to, live a healthier life or get out of a bad relationship or discover their self-worth or self-love. And as long as I can continue to do that, that's really like my goal. So that's what my platform has always been about, and what I hope it continues to be, alongside the elite level of competing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. And I mean, you get to pursue that elite level because, of course, it's your own journey, your experience, and that's where it brought you. But then, too, like you said, your mission is to inspire others and encourage others, not necessarily on the path to the pinnacle of their athletic career, but just at all levels, meeting them where they're at.
Absolutely.
And so, Dani, then from there, having that incredible experience at the games and, of course, now going all in with this CrossFit journey, how did this bring you, or I guess your own life's journey, bring you to become a contestant on this season of the Titan Games?
Well, I think being a high-level athlete, it definitely prepared me for what I would meet. Challenges I would meet on the Titan Games. And actually it was a friend of mine who actually competed in season 1 who told me, she had a great time. She thought it'd be great for me to try. And funny enough, I was like, maybe I'll look into it. And, funny enough, a couple months after we had that conversation, I got reached out to asking if I wanted to audition. So I was like, yeah, let's go for it.
I love that. It's living in that constant state of preparedness for, not knowing what was going to come up, and then, a TV show. Why not, right?
why not?
Yeah, I love that. And so Dani, I mean, then saying yes to this opportunity to go on the Titan Games, and having this experience, meeting all these individuals, like you said, I mean, you created this platform that you have with Dell Athletics so that you can encourage and inspire so many people. And then two, now interacting with all these Titan athletes that you got the chance to compete with and experience their own life's journeys too with through the show. What would you say is your definition of a Titan?
I think a Titan is anyone who can face a challenge, and regardless if, you know, it's something that they completely succeed at or they walk away from it with a lesson learned, I think that is what a Titan is. They can look at any challenge, any pursuit that they want to do, and it becomes like, okay, well, I'm going to conquer this, so I'm going to learn from this. And I think that's in itself just like a majestic thing that people can hold, and challenges don't scare them because, again, like I said, either they're going to completely conquer that challenge or they're going to learn from it and just better themselves. And I think that's what a Titan is.
I really love that definition. I mean, it's true. It's any obstacle that you come up, it's the decision that you are going to take it head on, and whether or not you, it's more than, I guess, overcoming it physically. It's you overcome it simply because you know you're going to learn something from that experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so Dani, then too, having, you know, getting to interact with these incredible people, and then just like yourself, and then with these Titans and people who've overcome these obstacles, and then knowing also that The Rock created this TV show, who is someone who has also overcome his own obstacles, and bringing all of you guys together to compete in this incredible way. Do you have any recollection of maybe when you first became aware of who The Rock was, either when you were younger, if you ever watched wrestling or football, just any recollection of, when you first became aware of who he was as a person?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. So I remember I don't remember how old I was, but I was pretty young when I first saw the movie, The Scorpion King.
Yes.
And
yep.
I immediately was like, okay, like even like as a young age, I was like, who is this person? Hello. Like, who are you? So I remember seeing him there, and from that moment, I talked to friends and, talked to my parents, and obviously, like, everyone knew who he was through his wrestling background, other movies, just et cetera, et cetera. And the more I paid attention and the more I grew up, I really came to respect him, like, obviously as an actor and everything else that he does, but it's more of his business savvy and how many different things that he has pursued and excelled in. And I think it's absolutely incredible how many like different little pots he has his hands in, and it seems like everything he touches seems to just succeed. And he has that mindset, that just successful mindset, and someone who is building her own business and someone who wants to go and inspire and motivate people. He's a wonderful role model to have, and an incredible person to look to for, just any kind of path to take. And as I said, as I've grown in years, he's actually for a very long time been someone who I've looked to and admired, as you can start somewhere and completely end somewhere else, and you can create your own path and your own destiny. If you want to do something, then pave the way, and that's exactly what he's done, and it's something that I admire greatly in him.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's really such a good point, because you can of course look to him and be inspired athletically and physically, because that's what you do. That is your profession with CrossFit. But then too, knowing that you're building your business side as well, and seeing that reflected in him. So being able to really see your own path and your own journey in what he has done. And so Dani, in light of that, now looking forward for you on both sides. So what do you hope to grow Dell Athletics to be? And then two, looking forward, where do you hope what is on the horizon for you as a CrossFit athlete?
So Dell Athletics is just continuing to be able to help people kind of hand to hand, like on a first name basis. Like what I'll say is like my nutrition and my fitness programming. It's the members of Dell Athletics. I know for a fact that I am bettering their lives. Mm-hmm. I am helping them achieve a healthier life, which is something that I always want to do. I want to help, people better their lives. And in accordance with, like I was talking about, my platform to help motivate and inspire, that's a larger reach. And so like Dell Athletics is very personal to me because, those are my people. Those members are my people who have trusted me to follow the programming or reach out for nutrition. So I want that to just continue. As long as, even if there was just one person, one member, I would want to continue it because I know that I'm helping that one person. So that's what I hope for that. I just hope that we can, I can grow it as a business and I can continue to help people in that sense. As a CrossFit athlete, I obviously hope to just keep competing for as long as my body will allow. There's been some shakeups recently in the CrossFit world, so things are a little kind of up in the air right now. But my goal is to just continue to compete on any stage that I can, and like I said, as long as my body will allow me to.
I love that. Absolutely. I mean, just continue on that path and then being able to live out the mission of Dell Athletics every day in what you do. And that's a really beautiful thing. I mean, like you said, you knew you would never be able to have a desk job, and now you have the opportunity to not, because you chose to walk through a door of opportunity with CrossFit. You decided, I'm going to see what I can do. And that catapulted you forward to what you have today with Dell Athletics.
Yeah, it's been a ride, and I've been incredibly lucky in the opportunities that have arisen through everything. So I would not take anything back for the world.
Absolutely. And so Dani, now looking back on your own personal journey and reflecting and seeing how much you've accomplished and everything you've done, and looking forward, knowing, of course, you're going to keep accomplishing everything you set your mind to in CrossFit and inspiring people that you get to reach with your new platforms. I just have one final question that I ask all of my interviewees. What do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, that's such a good question. I kind of have a double answer for that. I've actually been asked this question before. And first and foremost, like, my dad instilled something within me that no matter what life brings, is I want to be remembered that I had fun. Mm-hmm. And not in the sense of, just like purely enjoying the general aspects of life, but that I, every single day I woke up and I did what I love to do. I never worked, they say you don't work a day in your life if you love what you do, love what you do. And that's what I want to be remembered by, is that I chose a path in life and I created a wonderful and fun life. And no matter what I was doing, I was smiling, I was helping people, I was inspiring, I was motivating, and through it all, I had fun. And that's the best life that you can have. If you were, you're serving other people and you're helping other people, and throughout it all, you can have a genuine smile on your face, and you can, lay down in your bed at night and say, yeah, it was a good day. And you can do that every day. Even on the bad days, you can do that. So I just want to be remembered as someone who did that. She had fun in her life.
Thank you all for tuning in to today's installment of the Athletes of the Titan Games podcast. To learn more about each of these Titan athletes, be sure to check out their information in the links in my show notes. Furthermore, to stay up to date on all things coming out of the KMF Collective, be sure to subscribe to the Keep Moving Forward YouTube channel and follow along on social media, also available in the show notes. As the creator of the Titan Games, Mr. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, "Titans aren't born, they're made." And I hope today's story helped you realize all that you are capable of becoming if you put in that hard work and just keep moving forward.